everybody, I am Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. What's happening? Nancy in Abbotsford, California. I don't remember saying hello to you. So if I've never, welcome to the boat. I am glad that you are here. And thank you for doing the stream. I am alone this Christmas. No, you're not. You're with family, and you're among friends. You're on the lifeboat. Johnny Scoville, how are you, brother? That's my brother, Johnny Scoville. He is a legend, you know. Incarnate Soul, Jason P., Kristen Melinda, good to see you. Sweet Liberty, what's happening? Feisty Kitty, Goosebumps 801, Ghost Rider, what's happening? Robin Bliss, good to see you. Noah Wright, how are you? Meredith Lynn. Merry Christmas, Meredith Lynn. Merry night before Christmas and all through the house. Shannon, Barbara Waite, how are you? Hello, Orange. Kristen Melinda. Good to see you. Estelle Pretorius. Callion Smart. There you are. Good to see you. Chicken Cherry Cola. Angie Moe. Anna's here. Hello, Anna. Merry Christmas. Twisted Sister Paranormal. Hey, my brother Shane is here. Merry Christmas, brother. Miss Weedy Poo. You know, Shane is hands down the best producer on the internet. Daughter of the King. I love that. Brenda Solier. You know what? I won't even say sorry for that. I'm a son of the King. Y'all have to put up with that for one day. I'll shove anything down anyone's throat, but I am. Wilford, good to see you. Teresa Clay, how are you? Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Tommy Bird, good to see you. While I'm being offensive, right? On this particular holiday, I celebrate the birth of my Savior. If that bothers you, I'm sorry. I won't preach it, but that's what I'm doing here. Tom Broom, good to see you. What's up, man? I'm forgiving, because it's the Christmas spirit, for all of the terrible things you've done to me. Today, while I was at the Christmas party, my brother pulled out a picture and said, you all need to see this. And he showed a picture of me in a two-tone shirt. It's like a light blue and a much darker blue. It's not actually made that way. The much darker blue was from the sweat that had been caused by our friend, you know, going out of his way to make things that nobody ought to eat. Right? No one should ingest the stuff this man makes, although you should buy it. You'll have a good time. Tell him I'm serious. That hurt. And I did see a picture of it. Johnny had a pretty good time telling everybody, hello, Blessed Crochet. Good to see you. Tara Jackson, how are you? Hello, Melissa. I'm glad you're here. Rexican Restaurant. Good to see you. Kelly Cabral, how are you? Goosebumps 801, Incarnate Soul, Lori Hart. How you doing? Love Mama Bear. Good to see you. Let's see if I'm missing anybody. Hello, Robin Lyons. How are you? I'm glad that you're here, Robin. I really am. It's that time of year, people, right? All of us have a fairly good idea. See that? You'll notice if you catch that just right. Do you see the two different colors of that green? Yeah, that's sweat stain down the middle. You'll also notice my jeans have sweat stains on them. You sick human. I'm kidding. He's a very nice man. Very nice man. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. People, I'm not good at what I do, right? I'm not even good at what I do. I'm not even good at what I do here on the boat, but I'm trying. I really am. And I do this balancing act thing, right? Where I try to protect all of the people here on the boat from anybody that's going to disrupt what we're trying to do to the point that we can't do it. And it happens. It happens. And sadly, when it happens the most is when someone who is needing us more than anything, someone that needs my help more than anything, very often won't have the ability to fit into the framework that we have to do. And one of those reasons is because they'll show up so wasted on OxyContin or so wasted on, if I say any of the substances, we'll just get demonetized. Very often that substance is alcohol. And very often the people that drink alcohol mix it with other substances, things like benzodiazepines, right? And The person we just recently lost on the boat that I talked about on the last episode, I kicked them off the boat. Hey, Timothy Glass, good to see you. Allison Metcalf Colombo, thanks for taking some time with us tonight. If I had to do it all over again, I would do the same thing. And I journaled about this today for so long, and I prayed, and I did all kinds of other stuff. Sorry, you're just going to have to deal with it. But I kicked someone off the boat who then went and died from their substances. It's not the first time that that's happened to me. But it doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easier, right? And the trolls will have a really good time with it. So Merry Christmas to you guys too. Jason P., good to see ya. To all who may need this holiday season, yeah. You are loved and never alone. Much, much love to all of my chosen family. And to Tommy, thank you for facilitating a safe place for us all. You're welcome, my brother. I am honored to have met you, and I look forward to meeting you again, bringing my girlfriend with me this time. This person drank themselves to death. And the truth of the matter is that while I was, thank you, Timothy, while I was working with this person, they had already killed themselves. Psoriasis is a bitch, and this person had already destroyed their liver and were on their way to not making it. But when you get the text message that says that they're gone, you feel like the biggest piece of shit that ever walked planet Earth. And the truth is that if I had allowed the person to continue, they would have run people off of the boat who needed help. And you have to make those split decisions. And the truth is that I don't make a good one ever. Every time that I make one of these decisions, I come down on the wrong side of it. Right? This is a person I invited back 3 times, either 2 or 3 times. And I don't invite people back, but the person needed help. So all day long, I've been it hasn't been a good one. It just hasn't been a good one. But we're going to keep doing what we do. If you're new to the lifeboat, we've lost. I stopped counting at 20 something. At the number of them that I loved. In this last year, I lost a friend of mine, and I'm not supposed to say his name again because the people in his family don't want his daughter to come across any of these videos until she's old enough to kind of get a handle on it. Her mom overdosed on heroin 2 years ago, and her father couldn't get clean off of it. And trying to get into medical assisted treatment, he had to continue to use because they weren't giving him enough pain meds, because the pain med that they were giving him was methadone, and they were taking him up so slowly that he was supplementing it with fentanyl. And he got xylazine with his fentanyl, and he overdosed and died. It's been a tough year for losing people that we love. And there's nothing you can do. I mean, I know I'm going to get emails that say, hey, it's not your fault. I'll be really honest with you. I know it's not my fault. I know it's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. Just kind of a hump part of this job, because whether you do anything wrong or not, it doesn't make you sleep any better. Lynn Sanity, thank you so much. Lynn stuck around when I didn't. And Lynn says, Tommy, I feel you. I had to start ignoring calls after midnight because of frequent drunk calls. I had to put myself first. I had a conversation with this person and tried as hard as possible to keep this person on the boat. You can't. Sometimes you can't. And that sucks. It does. It sucks worse than anything in the world, but it is what you got to do. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Kay, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. Robin, you're right. And that's really what it comes down to. You know, people will say it's not your fault, and I'll go, really? Because I don't feel any better knowing it's not my fucking fault. I'm sorry, but that's kind of how it works. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you feel any better. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. That's my girlfriend, Reese. Merry Christmas, baby. I love you more than you could possibly imagine. I'm really fond of her. And I appreciate everybody that has gone over and hit subscribe. If you got a ranch, could you put my girlfriend's link up there? Because there were people who are going to see this who don't know her. And I'm not doing this for the nepotism reason. Hey, man, go over there and check out my girlfriend. I'm telling you straight out that the reason that we're doing this is this. The story that you heard last night, and by the way, I've never had a better response. I haven't. 2,000 videos. And I got videos that have 60,000 views on them. But it was different. The response to last night's video was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And as an example, even if you just stop by right now, what you're going to see is like 6,000 views, which isn't for us a tremendous video. But if you have 6,000 views with 200 comments and 1,000 likes, you're killing it. Like everybody's engaged, and everybody's pissed off. This is 2025 almost. And when 2025 gets here, guess what? Honestly, all of this, the stuff that bums me out and the things that we're gonna get real pissed off in 2025, and we're gonna do it as a team, and we're gonna make people pay for the things that they do to people that can't help themselves. Understand? What makes these people suck is that they prey on people that can't stand up to them. So we're gonna use things like our cash, and I'm not gonna ask for any of it from you, so don't trip. I'm just going to ask you to spend it in intelligent places. Don't give it to people that victimize people. Don't give it to Hollywood. Don't buy shit brands that advertise kids looking like they're about to get banged. Starts with a B. Somebody help me with the name of that shit company, please. Johnny Scoville, you're a beast, man. I love you too. You know, I'm really excited watching my brother's paradigm shift, right? My brother got famous as hell on the internet. My brother's, there's nobody that eats peppers that's more well-known on earth. My brother's thank you. My brother is the kind of the Babe Ruth of pepper eating. Thank you so much, Mother Bird. I'm so glad you found us. I really am. There's the name of it. You buy something from these people, even a hat, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. I don't care if you like their styles. If they got a picture of a 3-year-old in bondage clothing, right? Or a 6-year-old with whips and change, get your shit together. Start acting like a human being. Just because these idiots think that something is cool or sells, it's our money, right? It's our money. Don't spend it on idiots. That's absolutely essential. It is absolutely essential. Please don't bother wasting your money on people who don't have the best interest of our kids, our life, all of this in place. Because truthfully, most of them do not. I'm trying to find that comment, Tommy Bird. I'm not a bright man, and I am willing to admit that. Let's see here, Tommy Bird. I need to work on this. I was talking to my girl today, and you know what? You're all just going to have to, I'm sorry in advance, right? I really am. I'm sorry in advance. Please accept my apologies for everything that I'm going to say tonight, right? This isn't one of those shows I'm going to be able to do and do my usual, I can't say this, or I'll word this way. I don't care. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and I hope I don't piss anybody off. But it's going to be one of those kind of shows. I'm not in the mood. Tommy, I can't find you, bud. I feel really stupid right now. Are you sure you left an earlier comment, brother? Let's see. Jason P. You know what, brother? If you don't leave it again, I'm not going to be able to find it because I can't. I've gone back 3 times. I'm going to lose my audience if I keep looking. Yeah, is the stuff overpriced? Yeah, it probably is, right? Honestly, Balenciaga, whatever they call it, is it overpriced? It probably is. I don't much care though if it's overpriced. I care that their ads look like a freak off filmed with 7 and 8-year-olds. Bondage clothing probably shouldn't be put on kids. And if you're the genius who came up with an ad campaign of prepubescent boys and girls in bondage clothing, I hope you go to hell. Sorry if I'm... oh, thank you, Motherbird. I really do appreciate you. I'm sorry if I sound like a jerk. I'm going to sound so much like a jerk in this next year. And I want everybody to kind of realize that I apologize in advance for real. But you know something? We got soft. I mean it. We got soft. We allow things to happen we never would have allowed to happen before. Want me to piss some people off because it's Christmas Eve and I honestly don't care? If I find out that they're sending people dressed in drag down to read to kids in my town, I'm going to go down and beat the piss out of them. And I got news for you. I don't care if they're gay or straight. I don't want to see a pole dancer reading to a kid. They're straight. Nothing wrong with that. They're not trans. Everything's groovy. Why would I want a stripper reading to my kid? We need to get our shit together as a culture, and I'm going to yell about it. It's going to be that year. I'm sorry. It's going to be that year. It's going to be that year. I apologize, people. Honestly. There are probably nights you shouldn't hit record. And by way of full disclosure, this is probably one that I shouldn't hit record on. And I'm going to take a bunch of deep breaths. Right? I am. I'm messed up because this person passed away, and it's kind of tainted a lot of my mindset today, and that's not a good thing. And I would, if I were advising other people, I would say maybe you don't talk to people when you're going through something, right? Maybe separate from the crowd, go journal, go do things like that. But I'll tell you something, right? I'll tell you something. We've been conditioned to be frightened to say things like that, right? Because people are going to crap on you. They're going to call you intolerant. I'm one of the most tolerant people you will ever meet on planet Earth. Seriously. You want to sleep with a sheep and the sheep's into it, knock yourself out. You want to have sex with 9 people at a time and they're all into it, go knock yourself out. I'm tolerant as hell. You want to be a drug addict and you're not hurting the people around you, be a drug addict. I'm tolerant of almost anything. But if there's a victim involved in your being a jerk off, right? And that victim's underage, they don't have the ability to consent to things. Like my son didn't have the ability to consent to both of his parents being addicted to smack. Right? It didn't make me a good parent. It didn't. I mean, I'm over that. I just had a beautiful Christmas Eve dinner with my son, and it was beautiful. It really was. It was nice to be able to spend time with a family. I'm going to go into 2025, and I'm going to try to go into it with the same attitude that we've all had for the duration of the time that we've had the lifeboat. Last night, I said a couple of things, and people thought that maybe I was kind of being a jerk last night about a couple of things. And the reason that I think that they think that is because last night's subject was so important to me that if you wanted to be a nozzle last night, I probably wasn't going to call you out. Right? I wasn't. That message last night belongs to my girlfriend, and I love her, and the story that and what she endured and all of that. I'm going to do a hell of a job telling that story, and I'm not going to let people screw it up. But there were people in the chat I would have loved to have shook last night, right? Because there were people I think that kind of got the message that you could get away with stuff. I'm going to protect this group. I'm going to make this a place where people can come and not have to worry about stuff. You follow me? I want a place where people feel like this is a family and they feel like it's safe. So I'll be quieter about it. I promise. I won't make as big a scenes, but I promise you, I will get rid of them this fast. I would rather have a smaller channel. I would. I don't want 100,000 assholes. I'd rather have 25,000 people that are really cool. And I'm really happy with the crew we have right now. I would say this, please. Do me a favor. We're trying to hit a goal here on the lifeboat. I talked about this, I think, a couple of shows back. As you get toward the end of the year and you're at like 27,790 or something like that, and you start, and you think to yourself, it would probably be, thank you, Johnny, do-over. Tommy Scoville, look, I've spent a lot of time with my kids this week, and every time I've taught my son how a man behaves, and when my daughter looks at me like a hero, it's due to good. Castro, good to see you. You're even drinking it so bad? That's okay. That's okay. Beating the piss out of yourself tonight for it probably won't be a really good idea, right? Maybe give yourself a pass and then smack yourself around in a week or so. You know what, people? I have gotten 4 emails this week to tell me that someone lost someone that they loved to a drug overdose. And then we found out about our friend who passed. So 5 in the last 7 days before Christmas. That's bad, right? That's really, really tough. So for all of those on the lifeboat who are going to pop out on the backside of this and are going to get through it, we win. We win. May sound really stupid. And I'm glad that I went to prison, and I'm glad that I watched what Christmas did to inmates. Christopher Story, 13 months. Woohoo! Congratulations. How good does it feel? Year 2. This is for you. This is the official participation trophy of the lifeboat. This is given out to people that go above and beyond. And 13 months is exactly that, right? Exactly that. Oh, Mother Bird. This is an experience. You know what? Mother Bird says, I was on Twitter back when Jack Dorsey owned it. And I don't know how it came up, but a man having sex with what appeared to be about a 1 to 2-year-old. I could never unsee that. I am so sorry that you saw that. I am so sorry that you saw that. I have talked about this on the lifeboat on multiple occasions. I never really got into it deep, but it kind of feels like this is probably more of an opportunity to talk about it than I've ever had. And I don't want to talk about it, but it kind of feels like when an opportunity like this comes up, maybe you're supposed to. When I was 16 years old, I caught a statutory rape case, 15-year-old girl, oral sex. In the state I lived in, that was statutory rape. Now, I didn't get charged until I was over the age of consent. I didn't get taken to court until I was about 18. And then I kind of took off for a little while because it didn't seem like a big deal. And when I got caught up for a fugitive from justice warrant, I was in my 20s. And these people went, the girl was 15 and you're in your 20s. What, you like kids? And I went, no. This happened when I was 16. Look at the date of the offense. However, in the state that I lived in, you had to do what was called a plethysmograph. And I'm betting you don't know what a plethysmograph is. But it's a small cigar band kind of thing that they throw on your junk to see if you get aroused by something or not get aroused by something. By the way, this has been deemed cruel and unusual punishment, and it's no longer allowed in any of the 50 states of the United States of America. But it didn't used to be, not allowed. So they made me throw this thing on my junk and sit in a room, and they showed me images of naked women and people having sex and this kind of thing. And then I saw a couple of those pictures too of things that I'll never be able to unsee. And as it turns out, the test was over and they said, you're normal as hell, right? No problem. You're a very normal guy. And then you know what happened? It was kind of a pisser. Then what happened is they said, hey, the guy that administered that test lied about where he went to college. What's that got to do with me? Well, see, he said he went to a university, but he went to a state college. So I had to go do the test again. It is crazy. It is crazy. I passed the test twice. Unfortunately, I have something that is very often thought to not be real, right? You can look it up. But it is, it's the inability to forget certain things, right? It's a memory that literally carries shit with you for the rest of your life, right? It's called hyperthemsia. And there are people who believe it doesn't exist. You can read all about it if you'd like. Yeah, you know what, Allison Metcalf Palumbo? Here's the thing. Allison Metcalf Palumbo makes a great point. Sounds like a lawsuit to me. Well, it should. Here's the problem. I was guilty. I did it. I did it. You can't defend yourself. I did it. I was with a girl. The girl was 15 and I was 16. Right? We didn't have sex, but we screwed around. Right? Her dad found the diary. I ended up in court. There's nothing I could do about this. It's in my past, and it is what it is. There are images I sure as hell would like to be able to unsee, but we don't unsee images, especially if something is going on that's tickling parts of your brain to make you remember things. And what I mean by that is we're hardwired to make sure that we don't kill ourselves, right? If you hear a train go by and it makes that horn and the wind, the first time that happens to you, your brain is going to put that into a place where the next time it hears anything like that, they go, train, and you stop immediately in your tracks. We remember more traumatic things, and we remember them so much more vividly because our brain thinks we have to. So those things are tough. Admiral, you helped me get through the night, through the last few weeks. Remember that when you want to beat yourself up. Thank you. Deeming, thank you. You know something, people? Maybe I should, I don't talk about this. I don't want pity on this. I don't. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Really, honestly, I'm not trying to get raw, people, but we'll do it this way. I got a blowjob. Sorry. There you go. All right, 16, 15. It happened during school. If I had been a stand-up cat, I wouldn't have been doing what I was doing. It's pretty messed up, but it is what it is. And here's the good thing. I'm no registered offender or any of that. I mean, the courts looked at it and went, in any other state in the union, it wouldn't have even been a crime. So I don't register. There's none of that. I'm not you'll hear that. People like making videos about it, but I'm not an offender. I'm none of that shit. Doesn't mean it wasn't tough, but it hasn't scarred me. It doesn't even come up unless somebody says something like that. It came up today for a couple of reasons. It came up today because a politician who was in his 40s, allegedly, had been hiring a 17-year-old to have sex. In defense of this politician, Matt Gaetz, and I'm doing this I'm not defending this guy. I'm playing the devil's advocate. In defense of Mr. Gaetz, they really went after yes, I was a teenage boy. I was 16. They went after this guy to try to build the case. And in doing so, they did everything they could to try to make this worse. The girl had a bulletproof fake ID. I don't care. So she had a fake ID that said she was 18 and she was hanging out with a politician doing blow and having sex. He's married. I don't care. He's a dirtbag, right? The fact that she's 17, if he got burned for that, okay, I get it. Maybe that's why they're not charging him. But he shouldn't be in office. He shouldn't. And if any of us make excuses for the guy because he happens to sit on our political party, then there's something wrong with us. If you're not willing to call out scumbags whose party you vote for, well, then you're a hypocrite and I don't want to know you. Right? So, yeah, he's a pig. He's absolutely a pig. And by the way, that's the direction I lean. You can hate me for that. But I promise you, if the people that I lean toward do something wrong, I'm going to come here and I'm going to crucify them. I held off on this guy because it looked like an op. It really did. And when they said the FBI opted not to prosecute, I was like, oh, this has got to be bullshit. Why wouldn't they prosecute? Well, they don't prosecute because I'm learning. I'm learning. I used to believe that they prosecuted everybody. Why? Because every time I farted, I got prosecuted. Everybody I know, they burped, they got prosecuted. They don't prosecute the ultra rich. They don't prosecute those in power. Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go. And so do other people like him. And you know what? We need to, I don't have a party affiliation either. I call myself a conservative. That just happens to be where I have been leaning lately. And because of the border, it's my issue, right? And since we're pissing everybody off anyway, that's my issue. The fentanyl coming across that border is killing everybody I know. All my friends are dead. Right? It's the number one cause of death in our country. And look, I just hacked on my party. Okay. The other party voted for this wall across the board. All of them. until it would have given the Republicans a win. Then they decided not to vote for it. You should go to hell. If your opinion on what is right changes because your party, you should go to hell. Sorry. You were willing to let the number one cause of death in our country move from cancer, right, or heart disease to drug overdose because you don't want to give the other team a win. There's something wrong with you. No, there's something wrong with that. By the way, I know my sub count's dropping like a monkey right now, and I don't care. Circus Rider, I do believe they will go down. I do too, but that's me. All right, people, I know this has been a real feel good. So here's what we'll do, because this makes it really easy every time, right? We'll do something along these lines. Somebody asked me in the last show my kind of music, and I said, I tend to listen to more easy listening kind of stuff. That is kind of the direction I lean. That being said, you ain't going to find anything I don't know the words to. I'm a freak. So somebody wrote in Beatles. I know every single Beatles song. Like, I am a freak. I love the Beatles. I love the Stones. But if I'm chilling, I'm probably grabbing like Elton John. Right? Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Billy Joel. I'm a huge Billy Joel fan. I really am. I think my brother loves music, right? My brother will pick out parts of a guitar or parts of a piano, and it's like he hears all of this coming together into some kind of a music thing that people have been that they've put together. I'm listening to the lyrics. To me, it's always been kind of Benny and the Jets is a great song. I'm with you, Tommy. I'm on the border issue. I have lived 55 miles from Laredo. Sorry, where? You live 55 miles from Laredo for the last 7.5 years. You want a little quick side story? Yeah, Croce was incredible. You talk about 2 years of amazing music.
Did you tell a story about the slap in the face?
No, but I'm going to in a second. Herb Albert Rise, there you go, and the Tijuana Brass. No, I do have a fairly funny story, but before that, I'm going to tell you this. I lived in Houston, Texas when I was a boy. I had just turned legal, right? So I was like 18, 19, something like that. And I used to go down to Nuevo Laredo. I would go to Nuevo Laredo, and walk across the border and buy a duffel bag full of drugs legally and get to the border and declare all of it. And then get to that little checkpoint that's like 10 miles outside of there where they take your car apart. For real, take your car apart. Yes, I do sing the duo parts. We all do that, don't we? Right? I like Cat Stevens. I do. I like Cat Stevens. Eleanor Rigby is such a beautiful song. Eleanor Rigby is one of their best pieces, if you ask me. If you remove the singing, if you remove the words from Eleanor Rigby and you just listen to the strings, it's amazing. You keep laughing at my hat? Well, good. I'm glad that I can cheer you up. Oh no, I definitely would have been in Houston the same time your parents were. You could tell them I was actually living in Clear Lake. So it was halfway between Houston and Texas, a little town called Clear Lake. And that's where I was living, right on the lake. Heather, every year when I put this thing on, people say, I love you in that hat. You should wear it more often. If you wear this after Christmas, people look at you like you have something growing out of the middle of your forehead. You know what I mean? They don't look at you like you're normal. Yes. Do you all remember spinning the radio dial and hearing 1 second of a song and stopping to go back to it because you recognized it? I got another good story, and then I'm going to tell you a story about me and my brother. But I got on a talk show, a radio talk show with a couple of guys who were fairly well known, right? And sorry, hold on. So these guys were having a contest, name that song. Well, before these guys became talk show hosts, they were DJs. So they can hear a quarter of a second of the song. They go, oh, I know exactly what that is, because they spun the records a million times. So me and this fairly famous DJ who I will not mention, right? Maybe later. But now I'm not, because it'll just get everybody talking about it in a direction I don't want to go to. But this famous DJ and his partner, we were doing this thing, and if you missed one, you didn't lose. The next guy had to get it to win. So he missed one, right? And it came to me, and it was Rod Stewart, and they played 1 second. And it was the opening to the song Young Turks. You know this song? Billy what's her name, left home with $1 in her pocket and a head full of change. You know the song. So I say, not Young Turks, because I'm not that bright. I said Young Hearts, because they sing Young Hearts Be Free Tonight. Okay. Let's keep it real. If I say Young Hearts, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's the same bet I lost to get my chest waxed.
Yeah. So this prick goes, no, it's Young Turks. I know. And I knew you were losing it. He goes, it's Young Turks. And we got into an argument. I'm like, you lowlife, dude. You're a DJ. I beat you. I knew the name of this song. Oh, I was salty. And we ended up we played to a draw because we ran out of radio time. And then I said to him, the next day I was tuning in to yell at these people, and they did a show talking about how the Green Fairy doesn't exist, right? That honestly, all of the things that people talk about, what's the name of that stuff again? What do you call the Green Fairy? It's a type of alcohol, wormwood alcohol, absinthe. They said absinthe is just like any other alcohol. There's nothing different about it. And I called up and went, what? No, you're an idiot. Because I consumed a lot of absinthe in my youth. And I went, nah, bro, you're wrong. This stuff is way different than alcohol. And they said, well, if we could get it here, we'd prove to you. And I said, you can get it here. And they said, no, that's illegal. I said, give me your address. And I sent them 4 bottles of absinthe, right? And I sent them 4 bottles of, no joke, 100% wormwood. This stuff is in Europe. This is not stuff you can get in the US. I bought it overseas, and it will twist you. And these geniuses drank absinthe on the air. I was in the car with Johnny Scoville listening to him, and my brother goes, oh, you know what? I don't think this is going to affect them. They're doing fine. They came back from commercial, and it was a wrap. They had to go to canned music. It's pretty classic, actually. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, people. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Tommy Bird, I love you, brother. Kestrel, you don't want to drink now. You really don't. And you know how I know that? Huh? Because this has been the kind of day where I'd like to crawl into a syringe and take a nap. But that's not what you want to do. It doesn't pay off. It really doesn't. And there's a lot of people here that care about you. If we started today, and there's a lot of you that are listening to me that have already been drinking, and that's okay. It is. Or drugging, for that matter. Right? I don't judge people for anything that they do, I promise you. Unless you're hurting people, I don't care what you do. If the damage is done to yourself, it's your business. But do yourself a favor. If we get through today, right? When the sun comes up tomorrow morning, it's a brand new day. Hey, work with Kate Jordan. I hope you're safe. Although I do love a good Wolfman Jack did have a great voice. I do love a good thunderstorm. Yeah, absinthe is rugged. It's completely different. All right, so let me tell you a story. Yesterday, I was in Walgreens with Johnny Scoville. I don't even remember, what were we getting in Walgreens?
Some shot button. I have no idea.
I forgot what we were buying. Oh, I know what we were buying. Spanx Calhoun asked me to pick him up laundry detergent. And I went to the first store, and they were out of the kind he went. So, I mean, the kind that he wanted. So I pulled over at the Walgreens, and I went in and bought it. And Johnny went in with me. And I go Magnolia. As I'm walking, I just finished paying for it. So I've got this thing in my hand, and I'm leaving. And as I'm leaving, the woman that was in front of me, because there's 2 registers, right? So we're side by side. She's about 4 feet away on a register. She's leaving a split second after I am. So I am just passing her at the same time that she's checking out. At that time, her boyfriend, husband, whatever this guy is, reached out and goosed her. Know what I mean by that, right? goosed her, not slapped her on the butt. No, I mean, got a handful of this person's, the parts of a girl's body that you probably shouldn't grab at unless you happen to be betrothed or certainly a significant other. Thank you, Angie Mo. I appreciate you. So I love Little Feat, by the way. Love Little Feat. Hitchhiked to go see Little Feat in concert. It was a great concert. He grabs his girl's backside. Now, because of how this goes, she does this one and turns. And when she turns, my face is this far from her. So she extrapolates that obviously this has got to be my hand that is on her, right? And by the way, it wasn't my hand, but she did what any woman would probably do in the same situation. And did what, Johnny Scoville? She hauled off and smacked me. I'm not kidding. This woman went like this. And I mean, turned the shoulders like Mike Tyson. This wasn't he turned the shoulders, right? Like you were going to, and gave me a swing. And I saw it coming. No idea why it's coming, right? I don't know her husband grabbed her ass. So I'm sitting there going, what the hell? Now, I've been in a fist fight or two over the years, right? So I see it coming and I went and got one arm up, like raised my shoulder, and she hit my shoulder and then right into my head, right? Hard. And right as this happens, her husband like steps in really quickly and he went, baby, that was me. That was me. And she turned and put one hand on each of my, like this, and grabbed me. And she went, I am so sorry. And while she's saying this, Johnny Scoville's standing to my left. There's like 4 people in line. The cashier, it was like, no one says a word. It was silence, right? Everybody's just sort of standing there like, what the hell just happened? So I looked at the woman running the cash register and said, with a perfectly straight face, call the police, right? Straight up. I went, hey, call the police. And everybody got like this panicked look. And I went, nah, I'm kidding. I just want to get out of here. And she goes, listen, I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. When I got outside and looked at Johnny and he looked at me and went, what was that? Like, what just happened? It was horrible. So here, no, this isn't the funny part. I know that sounds funny. This is not the funny part. The funny part is I get in the car and my phone rings, right? And it's Quibs. So I answer the phone and she goes, hey, baby, what are you doing? And I said, wow, I just got slapped in the head for grabbing a woman's ass at Walgreens. No, it's Walgreens. It was in the one that's in the same parking lot as Whole Foods. No, it wasn't CVS. It was a Walgreens. It's the one right next to Whole Foods. But so I says to Quibs, I went, some woman just smacked me in the face for grabbing. No, I said, what would you do if I told you some woman just smacked me in the face for grabbing her ass? And she went, yeah, it's not funny. I said, no, it is not, but it just happened to me. And she said, no, it did not. I said, no, it did. It absolutely did. I just got cracked in the grill and she goes, why would you do that? I said, I didn't do that. Right? I didn't do the grabbing part. I just got the slapping. I did the find out without the messing around. I just got the find out part. But yeah, how funny is that? It's never happened to me before. I've never had somebody think that I did something that I didn't. So I'm freaking hilarious. Stuff happens in Walgreens. Ask me about the time I was in Walgreens in Chicago. You're arrested for goosing. Could happen. Could happen. No, I was more concerned about what Quibs didn't take it good. She went, you did what? Then, of course, I explained it. She knows I'm not. I mean, honestly, I'm not that dude. Certainly not a stranger. You know what I mean? You grab some strangers. Wouldn't have done that at any phase in my life, even when I was a loser on drugs. Yeah, it would have been embarrassing to be arrested for it. And on the bright side, like I did have plenty of warning. If I didn't, you're going to ask Johnny, like she hauled off. This was no joke. The only good news is that, and no disrespect to any of the ladies listening, okay? No disrespect to any of the ladies listening, but let's see whose name do I come up with first. Tommy Bird, right? First guy's name I see. Had it been Tommy Bird who thought I'd done something wrong, he'd have gone like this, right? He'd have snapped the punch out. Very often, people that don't fight tend to do this one, and they wind up, so they telegraph it, and you get to see this thing coming. But it scared the hell out of me. And she was not a big woman. She was a very petite woman. What, about 35, maybe 30? Not a, just a young woman. And she Yeah. Congratulations. If you happen to be watching this, good for you. If a guy does that who isn't your husband, you should probably do that, especially if you're in public and you can get away with it. If more girls did that, there would be a lot less grabbing. I agree with you, especially if you go about it like this girl did, because I'm not going to lie to you. She put in a little effort. Yes, not in Walgreens. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do it in Walgreens. Front page news, the Walgreens booty. With as popular as I am, they're going to edit this thing together, and there'll be a story of me grabbing someone inappropriately at a Walgreens, sandwiched into. By the way, there was a 15-year-old when I was 16. They'll make a hell of a video out of this. Not from the U.S., but thinking Walgreens are a place. Well, traditionally, Cindy G, Walgreens is a pretty safe place. I have. Did she leave a handprint? She would have, I promise you, but she got 90% shoulder. I got very lucky. You can ask Johnny. He even said in the car, he goes, man, if she had hit you straight on, she'd have knocked you out. I mean, she got my shoulder. I'm 6, you guys see me like this. I'm not a small guy. You know what I mean? I'm a fairly big dude. I'm like 6'2", and I'm over 200 pounds. So I'm not small. And for a girl who is, a lady that's 5'4", 5'5", swinging at my head, she didn't have much of a chance. Noah Wright says, what is the worst fight you saw while in prison? Saw or was in? Let's see. The worst one that I saw. Fights, here's the thing. We're used to watching movie fights, right? And I don't know how much fighting you all have done, but that's not what really happens. You know what I mean? Like when you see Vin Diesel in one of the action films for like Fast and Furious, and he gets a guy against the wall and he punches him 6 times in the face as hard as he can, right? I promise you that ends a dude's life. You get someone whose head's against a wall and you punch him as hard as you can 6 times, you're going to turn off that dude's computer, right? For real. It doesn't happen like that in the real world. Usually fights are over in about 7 seconds. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. That said, I watched 2 drunk guys I was put in a 5-man or a 5-cell or 5-bunk dorm. So it had the maximum potential of having 10 people in it. And the way that this prison was set up, it was actually not a prison, it was a transfer center, but the same thing. The way that this had been set up is there's a pod that's made of glass and it sits in the middle of 4 units. And each of these 4 units has its own little pod, its own little bathroom and shower, and its own little day area. But unless something bad was happening, you could get away with anything. These cops, they're not looking at you. They're waiting to hear noise, and then they're looking at you. It was a wild, wild west. So these guys were drinking Pruno, and one of the dudes, they started arguing over, I'll never forget this. They were arguing over the license plate on the Bandit automobile, right? What did it say on Bandit's car in Smokey and the Bandit? And they are arguing back and forth. The logical guess might be Bandit, right? But the guy said, no, it's not what was on the license plate. Probably worth beating the piss out of each other for 25 minutes, right? But this kept getting heated. And finally, the guy said, listen, you dumb punk, you cannot use that word in prison unless you want to get in a fist fight. The way that this is structured, I know that this sounds stupid, but the way that it is structured, if a person calls you a punk or a bitch and you do not fight them, the rest of the place will just go in your cell and steal everything you own. That's it. Because it has been proven you don't have a heart, right? The term they use inside is, they'll call it a heart check and they'll say, you're pumping Kool-Aid, right? You're pumping Kool-Aid. There's no blood in your system. You're a wimp. But this guy called the dude a punk, and they went into this little bathroom area that had 2 sinks and 2 showers and a little hallway between the sinks and the showers. And it was a common area for all of us to use. And these guys fought for probably 5 minutes, not exaggerating. And there wasn't a lot of holding on to one another. These guys were punching each other in the face, drunk with absolutely no defense, sort of like almost exchanging punches. And I kept saying to these guys, do you know what's going to happen when they see how bad these guys are beat up? Like, I don't know if you're new to doing time, but you know what they're going to do to our unit? Like, maybe we stop these dudes from beating the piss out of each other. No one else wanted to do that. They seemed to be having a pretty good time watching them fight. But that was the worst one I ever saw. I mean, I know one of the dudes had a broken nose, right? Because his nose was like over here this way. Both of them were leaking from 4 or 5 places. There was so much blood on the floor. It was horrifying. It really was. It was one of those things that where you look at and go, it's just, this cannot be worth it. And the worst one that I was ever in, I really tried not to get into prison fights, but I would say that the worst one I ever got into was with a youngster, a kid that had just come in, and I had gotten along with him, I mean, really well for a long time. And then, Roger, you're good. Yeah, we're not mad at you. The kid got lippy, and it was the same kind of situation. And we were playing bumper pool, but he ended up calling me the park bench, right? The punk bitch. He called me both, and I don't have a choice. Now I have to go beat this kid up. And he's like 19 years old, and he was about 140 pounds soaking wet. And at this point, like now, I want a six-pack. I'm trying to impress my girlfriend. But at the time, I was a convict. I wanted to just be bigger and stronger. So I was probably 250, 260 and lifting a lot of weights. And this kid goes, you and me in the bathroom right now. It was a good sized bathroom and there's no camera. So we went in there and he did not land a punch on me. Now you're going, how is that the worst punch? I mean, the worst fight. He didn't land a punch on me. But I beat this dude with, I mean, everything I had. I would knock him down and get on top of him and punch him 6 times. And I would get up and start walking away. And this little shithead would get up like the Terminator and jump on my back. Like you couldn't get him to stop. You know what I mean? Like he would not lay down. And it got to the point, I'm not joking or exaggerating in any way, I couldn't close my hand. I had hit this dude so many times. So I'm elbowing him. You know what I mean? Like grabbing his hair and kneeing him and begging him. By the end, I had tears streaming down my face. I'm going, please stop. You know what I mean? Like, let this go. To his credit, was an amazingly tough little guy. I beat on him for a long period of time, and I didn't want to. I would have really loved to have stopped, but he just would not let it go. In fact, I walked out of the bathroom because I beat him to the point where he couldn't get up. And I walked out of the bathroom and went back over by the table, and my hands are wrecked. I got blood on my hands. And this kid comes walking out looking like something from a Chucky movie. You know what I mean? Like his lips busted and bleeding, his nose all messed up, had a cut over his eye. And he just walks out like it's the thing to do right up to the table. And he's like, dude, I go, get back in the bathroom. Like if they just see him on film, we're done. But that was the worst for me. It was awful. And then I ended up being really good friends with the kid afterwards. For real. We ended up being happens a lot, man. Hey, Roger. Roger, if you spend a little more time on the lifeboat, you'll find out who I am. I don't have the ability to judge people. I don't, right? I robbed crap loads of banks. I ran guns. Nothing that I did was, I was not a good person, Roger, for a really long time. And here's the thing. Pay attention, everybody, right? Whether you're someone that wants another drink or you're someone who's just trying to get through it tonight, what you have is a disease. And I'm sorry if other people tell you that that's BS, or if you have it in your brain that somehow because you enjoy having a drink, it can't be anything like diabetes. I got news for you. Don't get hung up on symptoms, right? Get hung up on the disease. The inability to say no to a substance is a disease. By the way, this isn't a Tommy Scoville theory. It used to be. Honest to God, I've been saying it since I was 20-something, right? But now it has been proven. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it has been proven. There is a CAT scan that can tell the difference between an addicted versus a non-addicted brain. Roger, you have a disease. Doesn't make you a bad person for drinking, right? It doesn't. By the way, I'm not sure whether or not you have been sober for a period of time or not. Let's pretend that you have been. Let's say you got 4 months sober and you relapse because of the holidays, right? You spend 2 days drinking and then you start again. If you start from scratch and say, this is day one, that's a dumb thing to do. Let's make it even easier. You got 1 year sober, right? 1 year. On the anniversary of your 1 year, you go out and get drunk and you go, what did I do? But you only drink that day. And then the following day, riddled with guilt, you start day one. What have you done? You've said, everything I worked for in the last year is nothing. Nothing. It's worthless. It's piss. Means nothing. That's not the right thing to do. It's really hard to stay sober for 365 days. If you do, especially the first 365. So if you do that successfully, yeah? If you do that successfully and you're at the end of that run, and then all of a sudden you relapse, think of the exact same thing. Nothing's changed. We'll just rephrase it. In the last 366 days, you drank once. That's a failure? I don't know. Maybe you party different than I do. That's a mother-loving success where I'm from, right? Addicts don't drink once every 365 days. That's a success. I'd like you to never drink again. But I don't want you to go, that's it. I blew everything. That's it. I'm a loser. May as well start going full time, right? May as well start doing beer funnels. I've already blown it. In fact, call up my guy. Let's get some blow. Sounds silly or stupid, doesn't it? But it's happening right now. Boat people, right? People from the lifeboat. It's happening to right now because of the holidays. You're getting emails, right? This whole holiday season, I get emails. People who go, yeah, you know what, man, I got loaded. Okay, good. Pitch the rest of your life away. You got an excuse. I lost my daughter when I was a kid. She's not dead. I lost her in a divorce. And the woman that I'd been married to said to me in no uncertain terms, you're never going to see her again. I'm never going to let you see her. Maybe when she's an adult, but you're never going to see her again. And you know what I did? Right? I didn't do this out loud. I didn't do this consciously, but I went, oh, who's going to give me crap for doing smack? Huh? They stole my daughter from me. It was the greatest excuse in the world. Anytime somebody said, you know, you really ought to, I never even let them finish the sentence, right? I just assumed they meant you ought to quit. You ought to get sober. They might have been telling me I need gas in my car. But if they got to you ought to, I would go, they took my daughter. You know that, right? I haven't seen her in 2 years. My favorite excuse. Hands down, my favorite excuse for doing dope was when I lost my kid. When I could no longer see my daughter, oh man, I had a bulletproof excuse. No one can give me any crap for it. And make no mistake, we like excuses. Ellie J, thank you so much for turning people green. Took me 10 years of relapse to get my last 20 years sober. Oh, I believe that. I believe that, Chris. We're really slick. This disease is insidious. You understand that, right? Where does your addiction hang out? Where does this addiction hang out? Because if you think it hangs out in your spleen, right, or your foot, or your sock drawer, no, it hangs out in your brain, doesn't it? Just did your first bump in 6 years. I feel that I deserve to enjoy a good night on Christmas to end the year out. Well, I'm not mad at you, Robin. I'm not. Roger, I'm not. Merry Christmas to the lifeboat and crew. Thanks to you all for being you. Thank you for allowing me to know that I have a tribe. In the good and the bad times. Well, you do. Thank you, LEJ. Roger, I've been cool, have I not? Always will be. I'm not mad at you for what you did. You hear me? I'm not. I am not at all bummed out on you because you did a bump. But the mindset, just keeping it real, right? The mindset's got to change. Was it a good night? Feel good about yourself? No, you don't. No, you don't. Got a really insidious way of making you think you're going to feel good about it, right? For real. If you just got here, a person that I kicked off the lifeboat died yesterday because of alcohol. I kicked him off. If you do what I do for a living, that makes for a really, really crappy Christmas. And I spent 30 years without a coping mechanism other than heroin. So when this comes on and this starts happening, my first thought is, man, would it be nice to crawl into a syringe and take an 8-hour nap, right? It'd be nice to just feel good today, but that's not how it works, man. It's probably not how it works. Yeah, you know, the thing with blow is this. You feel good for about 20 minutes, then you got to do another one, right? I do a line and I'm a new man. Trouble is that new man wants to do a line. Here's the other thing, Roger, right? God bless you. I'm sure that this guy knows Pablo Escobar personally, and you can trust him, and this is the greatest stuff. Like 1980, looks like fish scale. It's yellow, right? Great. According to our government, there is nothing here currently that does not have fentanyl in it. Everything they catch. Last year, I know of 5 cases of cocaine overdoses where people died of fentanyl, snorting cocaine. Right? 5 different episodes, not people, because 4 died in one of them. Right? They didn't get away from the table they did the first bump on. Literally dropped right there where they sniffed, all of them. We don't have a safe drug supply. We don't. So please be careful. If it's powdered, if it's pilled, if it doesn't come from a pharmacy with your name on it, right? Do you know that the average house in America has 2.9 people in it or something like that? Call it 3 for easy math. Look around your neighborhood. 100 houses in your neighborhood are going to empty today because of people overdosing. 300 people a day we're losing on average. That's 100 empty houses in your neighborhood. That's terrifying, isn't it? I don't care if you want to get high. I don't care if you need to get high. What I don't want is to put on a tie and do a show where I talk about somebody overdosing on dope. That's really what I don't want to do. So if you feel like you can't get through it, right? I'm not blaming you. I promise you I'm not. But, and I've said this 100 times. I have a friend who is sober today. I guarantee it. He's not doing anything. He's a businessman. This dude runs publicly traded companies. He's a stone cold beast. He's worth an absolute fortune, and he doesn't do anything wrong. He really doesn't. He's gotten sober, right? Just the way it is. However, 7 days from today, he's going to do cocaine. He does it every single New Year's, and he's done it every single New Year's that I've known him for my entire life, and I've never once busted his balls for it, ever. Used to do it with him on New Year's. This year, I called him and said, please don't do it this year. Please don't. Right? There just isn't any safe stuff left. Doesn't mean that you can't do it and get away with it. You might do it and get away with it every day for 9 months. But there is a batch that's going to kill you, and you're just going to probably find it if you continue to use. Or you might get really unlucky and find it the very first time. Do you know how many stories we are hearing every day of people that died the first time they tried fent? I tell the story on here all of the time of the 15-year-old girl who got in a car and they started to drive. They were on their way to Knott's Berry Farm. And she said, you got to take me home. I can't do this. She had a tooth out. And she said, I at least got to get home and get some medication for my mouth. I'm dying. And the guy in the car said, what did they give you? And she said, Percodan. And he goes, don't trip. I got him. I got perks on me. And he gave her a perk 30. Said M30 on it, right? It was supposed to be a Percocet 30. She was dead in 4 minutes after it hit her stomach. 4 minutes. They didn't even get her to a hospital. Nodded out like this, and by the time she was there, it was over. They said that she had an estimated 9 milligrams in her system. 2 would have killed her. She's not a drug addict. She's never done drugs. She wanted the pain to stop, and shit, she already had a prescription that said Percodan on it. What's wrong with taking it from somebody else? What difference does it make? It's still Percodan, right? You know what? I am the least judgmental dude. I don't care what any of you do. It's your business. And I'm not anti-drug. I know that blows people away. I'm not anti-drug. 8 out of 10 people that do drugs do it and don't have a problem with it. My life is the 20%. Right? I hang out with the people that can't do it. But 80% can. So I'm not going to sit and say, no, you shouldn't do this. This stuff is evil. It's not. It's not. It's not. Right? Elephants get loaded. Animals get loaded. Everybody gets loaded. Unfortunately, we got a lot more on our plate than a pachyderm. Right? I want everybody to be careful. Between Johnny and yourself, you help me cope with the psychological battle I face every day. Thank you. SG, nothing would make me happier, honestly. I spent a lot of my life being a really crappy person. I would like to believe that the stuff that my brother and I are doing, because he wasn't a great guy either, I'd like to believe that the stuff that we're doing is making a difference. I really would. You love me and Maurice? Well, thank you. I know that she's going to love that. She really will. I'm a pretty big fan of Reese. I'm not going to lie to you. Merry Christmas to you too, Marta. But I'm going to wish all of you a Merry Christmas tomorrow too, people. I promise you we're going to... the number one, Dorothy, means whatever it means for you. I'll tell you what it means for me. What it means for me is I'm going to say a prayer for you, right? I'm going to end that prayer in Christ's name. That's my get down. You can do whatever you want. For some people that don't believe, they just say, I'm sending positive vibes. For some people that say, I don't even believe you can send a positive vibe, it's just saying, how would you like a virtual hug? It's your way of saying, I support you. And there are people who believe that you're going to light a candle or you're going to do whatever, and that's fine. Whatever it is that your belief, but that one is a representation of the belief to say, I'm going to do what I believe in honor of you because you're hurting. If that makes sense. Chris, thank you so much for your service. Chris says, I'm a combat veteran. The battles are between my ears. I can't imagine. I can't. And I've worked with a lot of veterans. I cannot imagine. I saw people die in prison, but I was there because I was a dirtbag, right? To go as a hero and have to watch stuff is not something that I can wrap my brain around. It really isn't. But thank you for your service, and I really appreciate that you said this out loud. I know that that's not an easy thing to do, especially for a warrior, right? It's hard to say stuff like that. But the more that you do, the better a chance that you have of living your best life. And no one here is ever going to judge you. I promise. You want to come here and let loose, do whatever you do, you will find a lot of support here because we're all massively broken, right? We really are. The disco ball is hundreds of pieces of broken glass. Put it together, make a magical ball of light. You aren't broken. You're a disco ball. Well, there you go. There you go. Hold on 1 second. End of Music says, I only pick up my Webster packs with Karen's twice a week. Each time I say to myself, I will not stray from the correct dose. Weirdly, when I get anxious, my ADHD meds help me sleep and be calm. This is going to be really difficult for a lot of people to believe or to understand, but I stick by this 100%. I spent a hellacious amount of my life doing $700 worth of heroin a day. I've never met a junkie that could take a prescription the way that it was written on the side of the bottle. Not one. So maybe you got a drug problem, or maybe you're struggling, or maybe there are some issues, or maybe the doctor's not writing you enough of whatever. But if you're capable of half of the time taking it the way it is on the side of the label, I've not met that drug addict. I've never met that drug addict. I haven't. I'll give you an example, right? If you gave me a bottle of Loratab, right? An average script to be what? 3 pills, right? Or 2 or 3 pills a day for a month, right? Call it 90 pills. I'll go through it in a day. A day. No way it's making a month. And when I was at a pain specialist, no matter how much they gave me, I always ran out. I mean, and it didn't matter. When you guys have met Jack, a lot of you, if you've been here for a while, Jack is my only friend that's still alive. And first of all, I trusted Jack like I trusted nobody. But when Jack left me, I would say to him, here, take my dope. Every single time he left, he'd drop me off the house. I'd say, take the dope. Because no matter how much I had, if I took it home, it would be gone by the morning. I didn't need it, right? I mean, the fix was long done. But if you put an ounce in front of me, 4 ounces in front of me, 6 ounces, I would just continue to sit there and use it until it was gone. I'm a junkie's junkie, I promise. I'm usually silent, but I would love to hear you sing the Christmas song. Which one is the Christmas song? I don't know. I'm not even sure if I know what the Christmas song is. Tommy, just wanted to do pop in and thank you and Reese both for doing the lives on Christmas Eve and Christmas for all of us folks who are struggling and need the connection. Well, we agree on the fact that connection is a magical thing. And I don't know that either of us were aware of that a while ago, but what is the Christmas song? Johnny, do you know the Christmas song? I don't either. I feel stupid like I ought to. Thank you, Muppet Lou. I really appreciate you. The one that you enjoy. Oh, you want me to sing the Heatmeister song? I'm Mr. Heatmeister. I'm Mr. Sun. That one. The tally on the letters. We've broken 1,200 on the letters the last time I counted. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. That one? I can't sing, people. I really can't. I wish I could. Yeah, from the old Frosty the Snowman, the Ice King dude. Ah, gotcha. But I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun. I don't know. I mean, I know chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at you. I don't know anything after that. It's one of those songs that I believe weed is more trustworthy than any man-made drug for medical use. What are your thoughts? I view weed like I view most other drugs, right? I view weed like I view most other drugs. And by that, I mean, it's fantastic for the people that can use it. I take cannabis by way of a gummy every single night to deal with the inability to sleep, right? Just the way it is. And for me, that works beautifully. However, I don't wake up in the morning and then go, I should smoke a little pot to help me get through the day today, right? It's not a problem. I don't think the next night, I think I'll do twice as many of these gummies because it's going to feel better. I don't have an addiction problem with alcohol. But there are a lot of people, I mean, with cannabis, but there are a lot of people that do, right? And for those people, that's a problem. And I'm not trying to, as much as I don't think it's dangerous, I don't want to ever come here and promote it because I have a lot of people for whom that's a wild addiction, right? There are people who are going to get addicted to that drug as bad as someone is going to get addicted to smack. And I know that that doesn't make sense to people if they're not addicted to it because it seems almost, right? It almost seems harmless to a lot of people. But the truth of it is, for many people, it's almost impossible to get off. There are people I've been working with for years who can't. But of the substances out there, do I think it's more dangerous or less dangerous? I've never met anybody so far. I've never met anybody that said to me, yeah, I went out last night with the wife and I ended up smoking too much weed and I beat the crap out of her. I've never heard that. Never heard it, right? Smack is heroin. Sorry, smack is heroin. I've never heard that. Have you ever heard that? You ever heard somebody say I did one too many bong hits and got pissed and smacked my wife around? No. You know how many times somebody that I have thought was a solid person said to me, I got drunk and beat my wife. And you think to yourself, no, right? How? What's up, squirrel? Merry Christmas, squirrel nut zipper. So of the substances out there, I say this all the time. If you're snorting blow 7 days a week and you trade that for weed, good for you. It's a hell of a trade. You're doing tar heroin 7 days a week and you trade that for weed, good for you. Great trade. Did you trade one for the other? Yeah, you did. Good trade. Well played. Right? That's an excellent trade. Then we can figure out whether or not we can get rid of that. Right? Maybe we can get you off the weed too. That would be the best case scenario. But yeah, I'd much rather have you on that. I really would. All right, people. I have the sneaky suspicion that if I don't end this now, I'm not going to be able to talk to my loved ones before this night ends. Yeah, Squirrel's a little late to work. You know what it is? Squirrel's gotten to be, she's this really uppity cat these days. You know what I mean? Like she's been working one-on-one with my brother doing some filming and she struts around this place like she owns it. She's honestly, like she knows she's filming. She knows she's a star and she's really kind of getting an attitude. Marta, this may come as a shock to a lot of people because this is really a weird answer. No, I've never overdosed. I've tried. I shot 3.5 grams trying to take myself off of the planet. Just keeping it real. I didn't want to keep going. And my plan was, this is definitely going to do it. Right? 3.5 will absolutely take you off the planet. What it did to me was give me a very, very good 18-hour sleep. But no more than that. No more than that. All right, people, I'm going to go and call Quibsy and tell her Merry Christmas and then tell my family good night. But I'm going to be back tomorrow because it's Christmas, people, and that's what we do. We hang out. We're family. We really are. Sounds corny as hell, doesn't it? But we really are. This is a family here. It's why it feels so damn different. Squirrel, come down here and be social. Why are you not in the basket? I'm telling you. Straight diva since Johnny started filming her. Hey, come here, kitty. Get in the basket. You little snot. All right, people. I will have to see you tomorrow then. Squirrel is not in the basket. Little non-cooperative kitty. But I do appreciate you. Noah, not mad at you. Come on back. Keep coming back, please. Between now and the next time I see you, take care of yourselves. we'll start reaching out, trying to save some people after the holidays. But between now and tomorrow, take care of yourselves. All right. God bless everybody. See you on the next one. Wait a sec. Well, it's about time. Look at what I got. There she is. Cat in a basket. All right. Now it's good night.